everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Guess what? We're here again. We are in a new season of the Christian Life Show. Yes. So, as you can see, today is Tuesday, not Thursday now. We are in a whole new season. So, we have change dates, new time, new season. When it's a new season, we do new things. It's a new day, we do new things. And as you can see, I got all my butterfly glasses tonight. So, guess what, audience? Now you will have the Christian Live Show more often in your house. Yes. Yes. You will see more of us because we have more things popping for this season. This is season 8. Oh, I want to thank you actually for being here all this season. Come on in. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Again, it is Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you who don't know, and for those of you who are just seeing me for the very first time, hearing me for the very first time, let me introduce myself. I am your host, Verona Willis-Brown. Yes, the host of the Christian Live Show. So, the ring light is in my glass, but there's a story behind the glasses because I'm going to take it off soon. But there's a story behind the glasses, and you will know what it is very soon. Now, let me tell you, if this is your first time tuning in, again, if you've never seen me before, you never heard me before, and this is your very first time tuning in the Question Live Show, now we do have rules and regulations here. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 rules. They're just called house rules. Somewhat. Now, rule number 1. Rule number 1 is, if you are watching me and you're listening to me and you look on your screen somewhere, and you see the word right there that says live, simply mean, or maybe it's in that corner, simply mean you are in the live audience. Yes. And there's something about the live audience because when you're in the live audience, you look for the share button and you click it and you press it and you share it and you invite someone else to come on in the live audience so we could sit together. Now, live is like getting fresh food out of the oven or off the stove, and you want to serve people fresh food, even though sometimes replay and all of that is like leftovers. And even though sometimes leftovers do taste good, but there's nothing like fresh food. It is original. It is fresh. Your mama's cooking fresh. So you want to have that. Yes, so that's just one. What is number 2? Number 2 is grab yourself something to write with, whether it is a pen, whether it is a pencil, whether it is a marker, whether it is a piece of feather. Well, if it's a feather, you got to get some paint, dip it in the paint, and have it to write with. Now, you need a notebook or a piece of paper to write on. Why am I telling you this? Now, I am telling you this because thoughts are in our head, and we want to extract all those thoughts out of our head and put them on paper. And another thing why I am telling you this, because here we drop juicy contents and golden nuggets, and I want you to write them down so you can read them later when you're not watching me or you're watching the guest, right? So you are going to write things down. Good. Now, if you don't have a notebook, if you don't have a piece of paper, sometimes you can write in your hand middle. No, we are not going to do that. What you're going to do, you're going to get your devices. Yes, whether you use your cell phone, your iPad, whatever it is you look at. Somewhere in there is a notepad section. Now you're going to go in there, you're going to write in there. If you don't have that in there, you're going to text things to yourself. Everybody know the thumb. You're going to text things to yourself. Yes. Now, what is the other one? No. Get yourself something to drink. Yes. I don't know what is it that you drink, honey. Whether it is water, wine, tea, or juice, soda, popsicle. I don't know. But me, I'm always drinking water. Why? because I believe in miracles. And Jesus is the best miracle worker. And he turned water into wine. So I always come in prepared with my water. Yes, I come prepared with my water. So whatever you drink, you can put it in the comment section. What is it that you drink, honey? I don't know. Cheers to you. And the last one is, if you need to go use the bathroom, whether your bathroom is to the right or to the left, please go now. And I hope there's no line to your bathroom. Go to the bathroom. And when you go to the bathroom, you're going to come back and you're going to have your seat. Your seat is reserved. It's going to be right here. It is already reserved. It's going to be right here waiting for you, just like the seat of life. The seat of life got your name on it. And because it is so, your gifts, your talents, and your potential are sitting on them. We don't hand over a seat to no one. We just show up and make things happen. So with that said, let me take a sip of my water. So for those of you who don't need to use the bathroom and you're ready for the show, I need for you to type in the comment section that you are ready so we can roll into tonight's episode, because I still got to tell you about the glasses. Yes, I still got to tell you about why am I wearing the glasses. You just don't understand. This is a whole new season. Very much. It's a whole new season. So if you're ready, then we are ready to roll into tonight's episode. As I pause for a moment, I am going to show two things. Great. So if you're paying attention, you see that I show you two covers of two books. So with that said, let us introduce the person for the first cover. Now, my sister, your sister, our sister, I saw her name and I smile. I really smile, and she's going to tell you about herself. I smiled when I saw that name because the first thing I thought of, it is Charles Munn. So the first thing I thought of in my crazy mind was Alice in Wonderland. My sister, your sister, Alice. Alice, darling, welcome.
Hi, hello everyone. How are you? My name is Alice Bey-Pugh, and I am a children's book author. I've been doing this now for, oh my goodness, I want to say since 2008, but I was writing way before then. I was a stay-at-home mom with 3 kids, so I got really, really excited, and I used to watch them do like super funny things. So I figured that someone else wanted to hear my wonderful stories, and so I started writing books. Currently, I'm working on my PhD, so that's been like kind of stressing me out. But I really love what I do, and I'm so glad to be here. So thank you for having me.
See, I told you she is our sister and she's doing her thing. First of all, honey, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. I like to celebrate when I see us doing something. I like to celebrate your step forward. There's no stepping backward. It is always stepping forward. No matter what you do in this life, each moment that you get, each opportunity that you get, and you create something is a step forward. So congratulations. And again, I can't take off my glass because my glass is the whole story, honey. Oh, my glass is the whole story. And I'm going to talk about the glasses. But if y'all see my ring light in my glasses, don't be distracted. Because we are going to talk about why I got these butterfly glasses on. Yes. Now, you mentioned that you're a stay-at-home mom.
Yes, I was a stay-at-home mom. Now I actually I coach swimming here in our area. I'm a swim coach and yeah, I teach. I taught science for a year last year and now this year I'm just subbing so I can finish up my PhD. So, yeah.
Wait, what state are you?
I'm in Illinois. I'm sorry,
Illinois.
you guys. I'm so,
That's
so sorry.
okay.
Yes,
She
we
said
are in
Illinois.
Illinois.
Okay.
I am
All
in
right.
Bellwood, Illinois, outside of Chicago. It is a west suburb
Yeah.
outside of Chicago. Very quiet out this way. But yes, I love it.
And you said was. You say you was a stay-at-home mom. So you went back to in the outside world?
Yes, I did. When I was a stay-at-home mom, I managed to open up a in-home daycare. I did that for the last, I want to say 15 years. I recently had to shut down because of the pandemic. And then
Mm.
I came back to try to open it back up, but it didn't really, didn't really push it too much because I was like, I'm really working on my studies. So it's okay if I decide to close. So this was actually my last year. So I completely let it go at this point. I still would have parents call me to see
Yeah,
if I could still
like
watch a kid
hello.
or two. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm free this weekend. I guess I could take them. But no, I really kind of let it go. But yeah, I got more into going back into the classroom. So
Okay, so you were a teacher before?
yes,
All
yes.
right. So you were a teacher before. So you did a transition from the classroom to home, and then
Yeah.
you transitioned back into the classroom. How was that transition for you?
You know what? It was pretty simple. I love being at home with my kids. I feel
Yes.
like a lot of women should have that opportunity to be at home with their kids. It's not that way. I just had a loving husband who was like, babe, you can stay home. It's not a big deal if you go to work. So he is one of my biggest support systems. So when I told him I was writing, I think he was like, no, you're not. I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And then when he started reading my writing, and he was like, wow, this is actually pretty good. So that's how it kind of led into me being an author. My daughter was my inspiration, our youngest daughter.
Wow.
She used to color on our walls, on our floors. I allowed it. I was so into it. I was like, let her do her thing, let her be herself. And
Yeah,
my
let her
husband
be free, like the
yeah, my husband's
butterfly.
like, "Oh, she needs some boundaries, honey. She don't need to
Yeah,
be
let her be
coloring all
free.
over on the wall." I said, "A can of paint costs $25. We can repaint these walls, but at least she's being herself." So she's kind of what sparked the idea of me becoming an author and really launching my line, Doodle Art. So yeah, it's been you know a
So
really
this is your first book.
no. I actually have two books out, and I have two cartoons that are out.
Okay.
Um, what else do I have out? I have all this merchandise that's out. So I pretty much started like an art supply company. I have all these canvases that are represented in the book. So those images you see in my book also are on my canvases as well.
Audience, if you see me keep on moving my head because I done told you to get your writing stuff because you see, a teacher is right here. See, I don't play. I don't play that. See, a teacher is right here, and I told you you gotta have your writing tools. So you're gonna see me keep on bopping my head back and forth because I'm taking notes. I'm
Yes.
taking notes. Yes, ma'am. I don't play with no teacher. Come on here. I'm like, what? Can you say, can you say that? Can you say that again? Because I'll be like, excuse me, miss.
Yes.
Can you say that again? Because I have to write.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got a whole art. What
Uh,
is that? Art
so
center
it's a whole art supply line.
collection.
Yeah, so I have canvases, I have easels, I have paints, um, I have an app. The app is actually for the younger kids who parents are not really ready for them to get into the paints and stuff. So they can go on the app and also play and color on there. And a lot of the images that you see on the app are some of the images that I have that goes into the cartoons. So none of the book images are on the app, just the cartoon images are on the app.
I love
Yes.
that.
Hmm.
Oh, I ain't got no children to give that to, but I do. Yeah, some
Yes.
children
Yes.
somewhere. I
Yes.
love.
Yes.
There's always children. We. That's the thing. Let me point that out because children are everywhere. And
Yes,
I
they are.
just told someone, I'm like, listen, I got no limitation. I got no barriers, no nothing. That your children belong to me and my children belong to you. That's how I see things. That's how I see life. Your children are mine. Be good to go, no problem. So I never say I don't have children. I always have children.
Yeah.
They're always there.
Yeah.
And I use an app for art.
Yes.
Mm.
So my act for art was more of my daughter because she draws so much, and it's really funny. I used to draw like in high school and stuff, and I never really let my drawing, go anywhere. It was just something that I just did for fun. I would doodle here or doodle there, just drawing a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But my daughter is she's so engaged in it. Like her teachers used to call me and tell me about all the artwork that she had on the outside of her assignments, her reading
Yeah.
assignment, writing assignment. She would draw, just draw, just draw, and I was like, just let her be.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it doesn't affect her homework and she has the correct answer, just let her be. And so just
That part.
allowing kids to have that creative side,
Mhm.
it changes them so much. There's a reason why the arts are so important, from music to actual painting and to actual sculpting and molding. And I mean, if you think about it, it changes our kids. Music changes our kids. It changes. If you think about it, when we were younger, if someone plays a song back when we
Yeah.
were kids, it'll take you back to that era and that point in time where
Yes.
you're actually going, oh my God, girl, I remember I had these short little Daisy Dukes on. I had the 2 puff balls in my hair. I'm out here
Right.
jumping
Right.
double dutch with my girlfriend. So we take it back when we listen to music. I don't know about this new music, but I do know the music that we listen to. We can play any song on the radio and it'll take us back to that moment in time in history that we were on, that era that we were in, and we
Yeah.
can remember the friend, the hairstyle, what we were
You
eating.
better go ahead. You better go right ahead with that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. It's so important because music by itself is a language.
Yes, it
Music
is.
is a language, and I think that if we teach our children anything that you teach your children musically, they grasp it faster.
Yes, they do. They do.
Yeah, and I think if we keep on implementing this in the school system, whether we're homeschooling or not, if we keep on implementing these things musically, there
Yes.
will. I think these children would be, because I think I think I learned faster that way with music.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I was
I
taught
agree.
a lot with music.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, Alice, if you think about it, when you learn your ABC, you didn't learn it just like ABC. You
No, you
learned
learned it
with
as a
a rhythm.
song. You had rhythm. You had
It was
rhythm.
a
You learned it
rhythm,
as a song.
like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. You did. You're right. You're right.
So if basic ABC, because that's where it start, ABC, because I always look at ABC, those are letters. Letters became words became a sentence became a paragraph became a whole page, a page became a
Yes.
whole book, and so forth and
Correct.
so forth. So ABC is your basic. Like no
Yeah.
matter what you do,
Mhm.
how the basic life in itself, once you learn the basic, that will
Mhm.
take you through.
Correct. Correct.
It
You're
will
right.
take you through.
You're
So
right.
if you taught your children ABC, dun, 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 why is it that we are still not teaching that?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like
It
we
really
should do.
affected a lot of
Yeah.
kids when they took cursive out of the classroom. I think my son was in second grade when they told us that he would no longer be needing to do cursive. And I thought that was the craziest thing because our doctors and our cursive signature is our identity. That was
Yes.
our identity. That's how you knew that
Yes.
was us. That is used in a court of law. So
Yes.
if they use it to say nay or yay, that was you that signed that document, why would you take cursive away from these kids? And so I
Yes.
do know that they ended up implementing it back, but it was like 2 years later. But by that time, how many kids didn't get a chance to experience or learn cursive? Luckily, I just happened to be a teacher and I made my son learn cursive. But what if he didn't learn it? That would have been a misplacement of his identity, and it's
Yes.
very important. So yeah, it all goes
Yes.
hand in hand.
As a teacher, because you did both sides.
Yes.
You did both sides. So going transition in the classroom again, did you when you transitioned out of the classroom and you went home, is there any takeaway that you took from the classroom that you implement at home and that you're taking back to the classroom? Like you do the boomerang thing. Is there
Yes.
anything that, yeah.
So for me, my degree is in early childhood education. And
Okay.
so one thing we do in early childhood education is that we really try to learn the whole child. We are very serious at at fulfilling the cognitive, the emotional. We
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure they are developing physically, the gross and the fine motors. We want to make sure that we are introducing them to all the things that are necessary, which is their social skills.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's quiet time or allowing them to play, with sand or letting them go outside with no shoes on, which
Yes.
some parents would freak out like, oh my God, you have my kid outside without shoes on.
Yes.
They felt the grass. The grass is something they need to know what it feels like. The same way they play with water and understand that water, it evaporates. What happened to it? So we make science out of it. What happened to the water? Well, the sun was a part of that. It was an effect. So there's so many things that kids get to learn in early childhood that we tend to close the door on. And when they become third graders, because we're so focused on standardized testing and what's necessary for testing that we forget to let them be kids. So when I went back into the classroom, I went back in teaching eighth graders, and I was a different teacher on my floor. There were teachers on my floor that were like, you need to make them sit down. And I said, what are you talking about? I'm like, they're communicating. Why can't they communicate? So my kids in my classroom would float around the classroom. They could sit on the floor and do their work. They could sit next to me if they wanted to do their work.
Right. Right.
They could sit
Right.
next to their friend and do their work. We had assigned seating only because, again, we were kind of going through COVID when we went back. So
Mm-hmm.
we had to know what kid was sitting where. So when we had
Right.
to send them home, we had to also send home the kids that were sitting in their vicinity. So for us, I understand it was a safety thing, but I really kind of step back and allow kids to be kids in my classroom. And then when
Absolutely.
those kids got the word out to other kids that Miss Bey-Pugh is not so much of a stickler, then I had kids from other hallways,
Coming
roaming
to
through my
you.
classroom, like, hey, can we hang out in here? I'm like, you can't hang out, but you're welcome to talk to me if you got a problem, So I
Yeah.
was, I
Yeah.
was like that.
Yeah. You're not gonna crowd my classroom, but I see you.
Yeah. So I was very adamant about allowing kids to be kids, allowing kids to have a voice. Even in my household, my kids, I have 3 kids, and they have a voice. Before I started my PhD program, we all sat at the dining room table, and I said, hey, mom is going back to school, and this is what's required. I won't be able to
Yes.
have late night dinners. There's going to be times where I'm going to be tired and won't be able to take you to school. So dad's going to have to take you. And it was that conversation that, if my husband or one of my kids were not on board, I wouldn't have
Yeah.
started school. I was like, no, it matters to my household that we're our support team and
Agreement.
we're together and we're going to move in the same direction, because I'm not the only one growing, but we're all growing to understand that, okay, mom is okay to be out the house. We can function without mom today. She'll be fine. We'll be fine. So it's things like that that really matters and what changes your perspective as an early childhood teacher. You get to see the whole person. I can feel kids' energy when they walk into the room. I can feel an adult's energy when they walk into the room, because that's
Yeah.
just what we pick up on. That was something that we were trained to learn to do, because you have to know when a kid is feeling sad or not in their not in their space. And even as adults, you excuse their bad behavior because they wasn't their self that day. So if we're not looking at each other and being so angry, we could probably have a lot more peace in this world if people would just accept mistakes and learn to apologize and get past them. So
That was a mouthful. And and I love it
yeah.
because, again, I am taking notes. And somewhere in all of that, I am going to pick out just 2 words
Yes.
because I like to dissect things, and I like to see things in different shades and size and all sort of stuff.
Okay.
And all that you said, I'm going to pick out 2 words from that, and that's teach whole.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
It is just that concept.
Yeah.
That is just, I got in there and I'm like, oh, well, hold on. I know you're feeding me, girl. I know you're feeding me. But this is what I want from this plate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teach whole.
Teach whole. Yeah.
They told us we got 5 senses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Acceptance and no expectations. That's what it is. We have to have acceptance and no expectations. You accept all and expect nothing. That's
It's
what it
simple.
is. Yeah, it's simple.
So right now you're teaching 8th graders.
So right now I am a swim coach. So I don't teach in the classroom. I'm only subbing when I need to.
Okay,
So
okay.
when I don't have a workload of homework or anything like that, I go in, I take an assignment, normally at the middle school or at the high school level. So yeah.
So when you left, when you transitioned out, what grade you had?
When I went right into 8th grade. Oh, when I left out,
Yeah.
I was teaching elementary. So I had a lot of early childhood
Okay.
special ed, and then I did some of PE. So I was jumping back and forth.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Look, you're just trying to let me celebrate you for a whole bunch of stuff. Like, girl, you try to let me raise my glass and do all sorts of stuff. And like, girl, I celebrated for this and I celebrated for that and I celebrated for this. You just try to let me celebrate for everything. And that's
Yeah.
it. I celebrated for everything. I celebrated for the wife, the children, the mother, everything.
Yes.
Everything. I celebrated
Yes.
for everything.
Yes.
Because you're doing something. And you're not only just doing something, there's something about children.
Correct.
I said this over and over, whether on this platform or not. Children are our future,
It is. They are. They
right?
are.
And when we look at children as our future, we have to see the end before we see anything else.
Hmm.
And we have to be very careful of how we deposit in children because
Correct.
what we deposit is what's going to flourish.
Correct. Correct.
And I oftentimes talk to mentors and teachers and counselors, and I let them know, listen, the way you treat a child now, I want you to remember that that child will grow up.
Hmm.
That child will grow up, Alice.
Yep.
My dear sister Alice here, early childhood.
Yep.
That child will grow up, and I oftentimes tell this to teachers. That child would be 5 right now, but that child would not be 5 forever.
Correct.
Somewhere along the line, you deposit in that child. Always go for the best.
Yes.
Because your child, your student at age 5, in the next 10 years, they be 15.
Hmm.
Okay? So somewhere between 5 and 15, all that you deposit in them is like this, springing
Hmm.
up.
Hmm.
And no matter what you do for a child will remember.
True. True.
Uh-huh.
That's
Whether
true.
it is good, bad, or ugly, a child will remember.
Correct.
Now, you are a teacher and you deposit something in that child that's 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever the child age is. Now, you got a grandchild, and who's going to be, you never know where you're going to meet that person.
You never need. Nope. Yep. You're right. You never know when you'll see them again.
You never know when you're going to see them again. And you'd be
Yeah.
surprised to know that, oh, that same little girl that you taught when she was 5 turned to be the president, the prime minister, the doctor, the lecturer, the international speaker. You never know. You
Yeah.
never know where the generation from your loins gonna fall in that person's hand.
Correct.
See the end result. See the good. So I'm gonna say it again because I celebrate you. I celebrate, and this is what we have to learn to do when we become adults. We never stop learning, but we have
No.
to learn to come back and deposit in our children. In
Yeah.
this very Child's Month, I don't even know why we got only 1 month for Child's Month anyway, but like I don't even know why we got only 1 month. But anyhow, the fact of the matter is that when we put our potential in place, put it in that basket and bring it back to a child, we are feeding their future. Is it that we are feeding them or we are robbing them? So guess what we gotta do? Choose.
True.
Choose.
I agree.
Audience, choose if you're feeding a child or you're robbing them. Their potential, their gifts, their talents are already in them. Our responsibility is to cultivate it. Is always cultivate what is in front of us. So I like the fact that when you're teaching whole.
Correct.
The 5 senses must tap into everything.
Yes.
I can't say, oh, you gotta learn this, but you don't let me know how my feet should feel under the dirt should feel under my feet and the sand and how to look at the tree and feel the tree and all this stuff, texture.
Mm-hmm.
Why would we not teach our children this?
Yeah.
Why would we not have field trips?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we not have field trips have a field trip, teach them this, put them on the farm, do all these things, send them out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a classroom teacher. I try to tell them, like, nah, see, I'm not a classroom teacher because they probably would have thrown me out. Girl, they probably would have thrown me out of the class and like, girl, you doing all that? Yes. Yes. So they probably would have thrown me out of the classroom. So I promised myself and I promised God that I don't want to do classroom teaching. Can you just put me on the street or something? Yeah, I like the street teaching. I like to be free. I like to be out there with it with everybody and socialize out there and,
Yeah.
and teach like that. I like to do open teaching. I feel like I'm in a box.
Yeah.
And I'm in the classroom. I feel like you're limiting me in the classroom. So I don't feel like I want to do that. Yeah. So no, don't want to do that. So kudos to you, darling.
Thank
Kudos.
you. Thank you.
Kudos to you that's going in the classroom. You went in the classroom, you came out of the classroom, you went back in the classroom. So kudos to you.
Yes.
And celebrating your daughter for the inspiration for writing this book.
Yeah, I do. Thank you.
Oh, I think I have to raise my glass 2 times. I don't know. I think I have to do my glass. See, people, look, sometimes I have to come with this is my fancy glass.
Nice. I love it.
Yes. It's real fancy. Got blings and fur and all sort of stuff. So sometimes I have to come on my show with my fancy glass because things like this, accomplishment like this. I celebrate your husband as well for standing with you. And something else I want to talk about is total agreement. When you don't have total agreement, it becomes chaotic. And it's total agreement. You decide, listen, we're having a family talk. What is it, Mom? I'm going to go back to school. No, I don't mean teach it. I'm going back to school for me. So parents, please do for you. At some point, you got to do for you. How does that feel?
Good. Thank you.
I was talking to a sister of mine last night, and I said to her, when you raise your children, you got to start raising yourself. You got to raise yourself, honey. You got to come to a point where you raise yourself. You got to come to a point where you do things for yourself. So you going back for your master's, you said?
PhD.
Oh, there we go, dog. PhD, she going back for her PhD. Yeah. Now that's what I'm talking about. Listen, go on with that because I'll be sitting like, I give y'all credit when y'all do all this stuff. You see, I don't like school like that. Y'all didn't hear that. I'm just trying to let y'all know. Kudos for y'all. Now go and get your PhD and ABC and D and all. I'll just stay with the basic alphabet. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad for y'all who love the classroom like that. You see, and it's proven that you love the classroom.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, you love the classroom because you're going back to get your PhD. Sister, I congratulate you on that. Now, I have some few people in the audience because I want them to know where they can get and see your work and your daughter's work because it's not only yours. So it is you and the family work. It's a whole family business going on, right?
Yes, it is.
Like this is a family affair right here. Yes. And that's why I like the word total agreement. When you're making an agreement, when you're making a decision, you must have total agreement. I told you I would drop just the contents right here. Total agreement. Now, before I ask you where they can see all that good stuff, because audience, we do have somebody else coming up too. So before I ask where they can see all that good stuff, let me give a quick hello to a few of the audience here. Audience, remember, if this is your first time tuning in, please put in the comment section that this is your first time because we do have special first timers. Welcome. Okay. So now Welcome, Yasmin. Yeah, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back, Amina. Welcome back. And we have Chris Johnson. Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Ifra, welcome, welcome. Yes, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. And Yasmin is saying congratulations to you. Audience, if you do have any question, please put them in the comment section. We will jump into them because we're going to have another guest coming, and then we are going to get to all your questions. Or I said Alice in Wonderland. I knew something why I said Alice in Wonderland, but I'm going to be quiet. I am going. I knew when I saw your name, there was something that was floating in my head, in my creative head.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I'm a very I do all these creative stuff. Yes. So I am so glad that when I said Alice in Wonderland, I know what I was saying.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. All right. So tell us where we can get and see and view your family work, because the Lord is ain't just you.
All right, so you can go onto my site at www.doodleart.site. There you would find my bio. You'll get a chance to see the story of me creating Layla Doodles. You will also see any interviews or events that I have done, me speaking, my upcoming books. I have 2 books coming out. I have an ABC of Art, and then I have my first plane ride, which is about a little boy. And then I still have 4 more productions of cartoons that will be dropping. They're short, just little short skits, but I am in the works on those as well. So whenever I slow down, I try to get into the studio or pick up my computer or pen and start writing. So yes, I'm actually going to share with the group my link as well if they want to copy it down and they were asking questions.
All right. You wait, you say you wrote cartoons?
Yes, I do.
All right, pause, because I'm not messing with you right now. It's okay. We're in a new season. I'm trying to keep my composure because I'm trying to make sure that my glasses stay on.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm trying to keep my composure, honey, because you know what? You're trying to let me finish my water before my next guest arrives. But I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna let you let me. I know. I am gonna put you on pause for now because we are gonna welcome our second. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere because we gonna still chat up some more because yes. Hold on. Right. So we are going to just pause for a second. Audience inside of the chat. This www dot, oh, I think I wrote that wrong. I got to copy and paste it. www.doodleart.site. Yes. So let's write that again. But for those of you out there with children, of course, all of us, that's everybody, biological or not, children belong to everybody. Check it out. You find something for somebody. And again, let me put up this book because Mother's Day is coming up. I'm just giving hint. You might just it's a gift, might be a gift. It's a great little gift. I like to give hint. Hint. There goes a book. Isn't that nice? That is so beautiful. That does let me look like I want to go on a summer vacation. But I never mind. Sister Alice, I want to thank you so much for being here. Don't go anywhere because we do have another guest coming up. So we'll come back and get you. Thank you so much. All right, darling. Now, audience, you see, I told you it's a new season. It is a new season right here on the Kristen Live Show. It's a totally new season. We got new days, we got new time, we got new people, we got everything brand new. We got Doodle Works, we got Family Together, we got Family Working Together, we got all that good stuff. But let me tell you something when you see a host show up like this. For those of you being here, you might be wondering, why am I wearing this fancy butterfly glasses? Well, it's not really. I like butterfly, but there's a story behind it. Now, I'm going to tell you why. because I have to tell you before I bring on my next guest. Now, my fancy glasses right here. I spoke with my guest before he came on. Okay, I spoke to him before he came on. We had a discussion about um, the brightness of lights and his shirt. I just want to let you. I just want to tell you this story. He said his shirt was a bit bright. Okay, maybe bright as this right here. His shirt was a bit bright, so he said I might need some shades. But you see, let me tell you something, audience. You see, I'm putting on these shades because if my light is shining among those who are out there who is watching me, and you can't stand this brightness, you need to put on some shades, honey. Because I'm not dimming my light. I'm not dimming my light. So with his story and my story, we are going to do this together. He don't have no shades. I don't think he got no shades, but I got mine. So let's welcome my brother, your brother, the one and only. I got so much stuff rolling in my head with his name, but I won't keep quiet. Let me bring him on to the screen. My brother, Roy Little.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
I'm good.
Audience?
I'm happy to be here.
Yes. Audience, see? He told me that I need to put on something. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm very obedient. That's one of my traits that I worked very hard on, to be obedient, especially to God. So when somebody like, girl, you gotta wear some glasses because I'm gonna be real bright, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I told her the light shining off my dome might blind her. And so she got the shades on there.
I'm like, listen, let me put on my shades. I had to think which shades I want to put on, So I'm like, let me go with my butterfly.
Oh man.
So yes, welcome to the Question Live show. Because you see, this is how this kind of stuff here. I gotta be wearing shirts because somebody gonna tell me the light gonna be beaming off their head and their clothes and all sort of stuff. I done told you this is a whole different kind of season. Lord help us, please. Yes. So please tell us where you're tuning in from. Tell us a little bit about who you are and all the good stuff.
Well, first and foremost, I gotta give praise and honor to the Most High for waking me up this morning. You know what I'm saying? Because without him, like none of us would be here. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta give glory and honor to God first. You know what I'm saying? My name is Roy. I was born and raised in upstate New York. And like I said, God changed my life. He transformed my life. So I chose to use my writing ability to plant seeds of positivity in the youth, because as a sister, as you mentioned with the sister that you interviewed before me, music is like very, very important and it's powerful. So like I was born in 1982, so I saw the transition of hip hop, how it went from positive dance, informational music to like straight negative. You know what I'm saying? So I chose to start creating content in the realm of literature to combat that, because all they were seeing is like one narrative, like, okay, hood, drug dealer, fancy cars, you know what I'm saying? Like dealing with like a whole bunch of classless individuals, and that's not who we are as a people. So I wanted to give them something else, you know what I mean? So once again, I appreciate you having me here. You know, it's a blessing that you invited me on.
Yes. I'm just trying to keep my glasses, and I'm trying to keep a straight face, and I'm like, all right, I'm praise the Lord. Okay. Yes, and like I did before, and I like to do this again. I like to celebrate you ahead of time.
Yeah, thank you.
I like to celebrate you. I like to celebrate your moving forward, and that is what we must come to a point where we are moving forward.
Absolutely.
We got to come to a point. We got to come out of what used to be, because we cannot go forward, keep on looking backwards.
That's a fact.
We learned the lesson, we got the experience, we must pick it
Mhm.
up and we must go forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
when you look at you see, God in his divine, oh, he is so awesome that he created you with your feet facing that way
Hmm.
for you to go that way.
Right.
For you to go that way. So
Right.
there's no way for you to continue to reverse. Why are you reversing? I don't know.
Right.
Learn your lesson, learn from your experience. Experience is the best teacher.
Right.
Learn it and move along so you can teach.
Exactly. Exactly. It's all about photosynthesis. That's what we're talking about here. That's the same thing the sister was talking about, like
Yes,
nurturing the youth and like growth. You know what I
yes,
mean? Not being afraid to grow. You know what I mean? Not being stuck in like this Peter Pan syndrome that they try to like keep brothers and sisters locked into. It's okay to grow and evolve. You know what I mean? But before I go any further,
yes.
like I know like we got time constraints, but I need to shout out to the sister that illustrated my book. Her name is Shadera Uzoka. She's out there in Canada. She's a
Mhm.
college student out in Canada. And with God, everything like every organic blessing comes with time. Like, you know what I
Yes.
mean? So you can't rush things. So I wrote this book during the pandemic, and it took a long time to find like a quality artist that was like classy and professional. Like I said, this sister, she's young, like still in college,
Mhm.
but she's classy, professional, gave me sketches, all of that stuff. Like I had people ghost me, everything. Like, so it's crazy. You run into people online and like
Yes.
you never really know what it's a lot of horror stories that I could share. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a blessing to come across that sister. So I have to I know it's an interview about me,
Well,
and like
no, that's why you're here.
right, we'll get into me in a minute, but I have to salute that sister, man, because she definitely looked out. She had me sketches along the way. Anything I needed, she went above and beyond. And like I said, she's like young. So I appreciate that sister.
All right, so look, listen, look, this is what he's talking about now. Look,
Yeah,
I love this. I love this. And and I'm going to touch on that. Just your
mhm,
title alone, raise.
right.
When you hear that word or when you see that word, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind is the commandment from God that we have to train up a child in the way they should go. So when they grow, they won't depart from it. You know what I'm saying? And it's ironic. It's perfect. Like nothing is by coincidence. Even this show,
No.
right? So the sister before me is in education,
Yes.
and she was talking about. So all of this stuff coincides.
Yes.
It all. So children need that. You know
Yes.
what I mean? And unfortunately, some children don't get that at home. So when they go to school, they need that. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Or they need that. It's like you said too. Like it's a community thing. They're
Yes.
all our children. You know what I mean? So like let me bounce real quick. So in the 80s, right? I was
Yes.
able to go to the store at 5. My grandmother sent me to the corner store and I was safe because the whole community knew who I was.
There you
They
go.
knew whose grandchild I was. They
There
knew who
you
my
go.
mother was. They
Absolutely.
knew everybody looked out for one another. You know what I'm saying? So that's what God wants us to do. Love your neighbor, right?
Yes.
So in loving your neighbor, you look out for people. And that's why I wanted the cover to reflect children of all ethnicities,
Right. Right.
because the Bible is not a divisive book. So if
No.
somebody tells you that they love God, but they're racist, or they love God and they're
Yeah.
against somebody just because of their skin pigmentation or where
Yes.
they come from, you don't really love God. You just
No.
saying that with your mouth, but your actions are proving something different. So that's my the main thing I wanted to focus on with this book was to have children of all colors on it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Represent children of all ethnicities in it. And it's the same thing in the book as well, like different images of different children from different communities, all the tribes of the earth. You know what I mean? It's uplifting poetry that coincides with Bible scripture. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So and weave throughout the book, I have like different Bible coordinates, right? And at the end of the book, I have them listed like so you could read it out fully to your child, like, and it's broken out like piece by piece. So it's fun, you know what I mean? So like you could read the book, you could read through the poetry, see the coordinates, and look for them yourself. It's a fun thing.
Yeah.
So like all I'm doing is like I'm giving it back. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he saved my life. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I could like be lost still to this day. I
Right.
cannot be here this day. You know what I mean? But I'm here. So while I'm here, the one who changed my life, the one who like, you know what I mean? I'm a parent too. Like I'm married as well. So like all those are gifts from God that shouldn't be taken for granted.
No.
You know what I mean? Like finding true organic love in this lifetime is rare. You know what I'm saying? And true organic blessings come from one place.
Right.
You know? So yeah, that's basically all this is about. That's all this book is about. I actually wrote multiple books during the pandemic. This is just one of the 4 that I've written. But prior to this one, my first book was a book of poetry I released back in 2017.
Oh.
And it's called Poetic Paragraphs, Message to the Youth. And that book was geared more towards children that look how I look and come from where I come from.
Right.
Because that was another catalyst to be me being wanting to move into literature, is because I noticed that it's very few males from my tribe, so to speak, that have books out there. It's very few brothers out there that have books, you know.
Right.
Like when I was coming up, we had like Walter Dean Myers, and like that was it. Like it was real hard. Like, it was no internet back then.
There you go. You had to read.
Yeah, you had to, and
you had to read.
You had to search hard for these books, and you had to look beyond school walls. Like I didn't find that Walter Dean Myers book in the school. I had to look. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like I just wanted to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. You know, our children need more literature from an organic place. So I felt that it was my duty to do my part while I'm here, put positive stuff out there, plant positive seeds in the minds of the youth, you know?
You said something right there. And I mentioned this before, that I you could feed me a whole plate, but I'm going to pick something off that plate. Yeah, right? I'm going to pick something. You send me a whole thing. I'm going to like, yeah, but I like that. I like that. I want more of that. And that part, what you just serve, you serve a whole platter. And because you serve a whole platter, I want this part. And the part that says, I want to be a part of the solution.
Right.
That is the part I want from your platter. I want to be a part of the solution. It's in that corner. It's over there. It's right there on that plate.
Right.
I want to be a part of the solution. How can I be a part of the solution? How can I contribute to a part of the solution? Because this solution is there. The solution is there. And the solution is to replenish the earth. The solution is to lift up humanity. So it's there. So go back. There's another part of your plate that I'm going to pick up again. Oneness. Oneness. So on your plate, I'm only picking up 2 things here. Oneness and part of the solution. If we change the way we perceive things, if we adjust our mindset into becoming one, work as one, develop as one, support as one. One don't mean literal like, oh, this is my family. One mean one in a mindset. Put your mindset in that place of oneness. The way what I want for me, I want for you.
Right.
What I want for my children, I want for your children.
Right.
That is oneness. That is God created us to be in oneness. If we came from the image of God, we came in oneness.
Right.
So it goes back to what I was saying to Sister Alice earlier.
Exactly.
Total agreement.
Right.
So it came back around in full circle on the place.
Definitely. That's why I said, like, nothing is by coincidence. You know what I mean?
So, honest, let me clear this. Let me clear this. I did not speak to both of them to find out what was happening. No,
Right.
I like God. I love God. God just been
Yeah.
doing some stuff. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I just be up in there. It goes back to that. And if we put our mind to see things in total agreement, we can lift up humanity. We can replenish the earth. We can feed our children and know that, that child, you gonna grow up to be somebody.
Definitely.
Our children don't have to be living in the jail cell.
I agree. But I have to say this. I have to say this. I'm on a live show and I have to say this live.
That's why you're here.
Listen, all you young brothers and sisters out there, like, listen, understand this. Being an N-word is a choice. That's not who you are. You are born a gift. It also says in the Bible this, like, that children are a gift from God. They're a gift. You know what I mean? And if you're born a gift from God, at some point, when do you lose that? It's important to be mindful of where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Whose you are, because if you lose focus of that, you could become wayward and lose your way. Then all these idols start coming in, all these performers and entertainers that are getting paid to perpetuate a certain image. That becomes your God. That becomes who your father is. Now, let me share another important part of my life. Now, my father passed away in 2011, but he wasn't around me coming up. Like, all I had was my mother. I was a latchkey kid coming up. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I was wayward for a time because I was trying to find my way as a man because I didn't have that example there. So that's what I'm trying to be for the youth now. So before my dad passed away, we formed a bond, you know what I'm saying? And I got to understand, like, why his mind worked the way it worked. You know what I'm saying? And he had endured a lot of trauma in his life and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like, they always tell you, like, to be like super tough as a man, but it's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to lean on somebody's shoulder sometime and to get that out, because you grow from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, rain, precipitation, tears, you can go through that. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Plants need water to grow. You have to cry sometimes, man. You have to go through hard situations to grow from them. You know what I mean? So don't feel like just because you might not have had some people may have had no parents. They might have been in foster care or something like that. There's people who come from hard situations, but you don't have to be the N-word. You know what I'm saying? That's a choice. You know what I mean? Like, your life isn't promised to you. So every day that you blessed to wake up, do something good. Do something good in this world. Because all that fakeness, like that shining and trying to be hood rich and like get fake love and all of that, it means nothing. You know what I'm saying? Having a whole bunch of women around you that are unsavory, it's not worth nothing. Because then what? You're going to bring a child into the world, and then that child is coming into a turbulent situation, and that's not right either. No. So, yeah. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still learning too. But I wish there was brothers like my age now. I'm 41 now. I'm blessed to see 41. A lot of people I went to school with have died. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people during the pandemic had died. Right. So if you're blessed to still be alive and in good health right now, you should be doing positive things. You should consider doing positive things. Yes. You know what I mean? I wrote a book. The sister Alice wrote a book. Anybody, like, you know what I'm saying? You should write a book. If you have a story to tell, put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, there's always an audience for something. Anything that you going through in life, like, it can help somebody grow. You know what I mean?
Funny you said it because, sorry. Funny you said
no, go ahead.
I started this in the pandemic.
Oh, see? That's good. That's
in the pandemic. Good. Like at the tail, like when it's just stirring up, like probably end of 2019 coming up. Right. Yeah, I'm like, you know what, Lord? No, we gotta do something. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So like by the time it hit 2020, I was like, I'm in. Like I was doing this in 2020 when everybody was in their house. I'm like, oh, I gotta go online. I gotta say something. I'm that person that gotta support you. I have that gift to encourage you. I started out my life where it's gonna be like, listen, I gotta give a word. I gotta give a
Right.
word to the outside world. Like I'm in my house. Like,
Right.
listen, let me put out a word of hope to you out there.
Right.
And from there, I'm still here.
That's a
So
blessing.
it's the blessing. And a sister mentioned to me earlier two words: persistent and consistency.
Mm,
And
that's
and
good.
I took those two words and I'm like, yeah, when God bless you with something, you have to be persistent and you have to be consistent.
Right.
Because if you're not consistent, you will not finish the assignment that God gives you.
I agree.
If
I
you could
agree.
be okay, I got it. But if you're not consistent with it, you will not grow.
I agree.
If you're not consistent, there's no replenishment on the earth. Like you
Right.
are a father. If you're not consistent in deposit in your children, they cannot grow.
That's true.
They cannot grow. So you can't if you're not consistent and said, "Oh, I'm going to put positive thing today," and then no, you have to be consistent. Keep
Right.
going. It's a continuous thing. Life is
Right.
continuous. You got to 41 years.
Right.
You think that's because? No,
Right.
because God continually blessing you. I didn't like, oh, you consistent in showing up. You see, I oftentimes said this on the show, and I'm going to say it right now for those who are listening. When you show up, you are not showing up for yourself. You
Right.
are showing up for your family. You're showing up for
Right.
your community. You're showing up for generations to come.
Right.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
first of all, you're already showing up for God. God is like, hey, you show up because you are in my image. So you show up already for God. God
Right.
is a forerunner.
Right.
So when you show up, you are not showing up for yourself. You are showing up for your family. You are
Right.
showing up for your community. You're showing up for generations to come. Generations should come and say, hey, you know Roy Little? Yeah, he deposited in me that you should not grow. You should not, generation should not come and say, oh, I don't even want to hear that name.
Yeah.
Like, what? No,
Right.
let's not even talk about that. Mm-mm.
Right.
No, you're supposed to deposit every opportunity that you get into generations to come.
Absolutely.
And I mentioned this earlier to Sister Queen Alice there that listen, when you deposit, listen, you never know what a person is going to meet your child, your grandchildren,
Absolutely.
your great grandchildren. You never know where you're going to meet up in life.
That's true.
You literally don't know that
Right.
because you don't know that you're going to make it for tomorrow. You don't know how many tomorrows you're going to get.
That's true.
So when you deposit now, like you just said, try your best. The Bible said, try to live. It didn't say to do it. It said,
Right.
try to live peaceable with all men.
That's true.
Try. He didn't say, oh, let me tell you, you better go do it. No, he said, try to live. Try is a key word. Try to live peaceable with all men because you never know where you're going to meet that person. And if you don't meet that person, you might just meet some seed from that person.
Right.
You're like, oh, you're the third generation of this person. And you're like,
Right.
oh, yeah. I remember when your grandfather did this to me. I remember yes, but please remember us doing something good to you. Let us show
Right.
up with that. Let us show up with that intention. Let us
Right.
show up with that intention to do good to somebody. My good might be your wrong, and your wrong might be my good. But whatever it is, let's find good. And the good is always from God.
That's a fact.
The good is always from God.
That's a
So if
fact.
no matter which way you look at it, your good might be my bad and my bad might be your good. But at the end of the day, the good that we are talking about comes straight from God. You
Right.
can't go wrong.
Right.
You can't go wrong. No,
I agree.
no. There's no way. No way. I don't care which way you look at it. There's no way.
I agree completely.
We are in the image of God. So
Right.
however you want to take it, we are in the image of goodness.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the image of greatness. So every opportunity you get, you create greatness.
That's true. That's true. And
Every
like you,
opportunity.
that's true. And like you said, to your point, you have to be consistent. Like if you have children, your children are always watching you. So if you're a hypocrite, you're gonna teach your child to be a hypocrite. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
So
you're like, oh,
yeah.
when the child sit and done something, you're like, oh, that's not my child. Oh, yes, that's your child. Oh, my child
Mhm.
wouldn't do that. Oh, yes, yeah, your child would do that because exactly what you is teaching your child.
Right.
You taught your child that. So,
Right.
yeah, sometimes you don't even have to do anything because they observe and the energy, they absorb that.
Mm-hmm.
So, audience, please be careful. The children are our future.
Definitely. Definitely.
They are our future. We want to come to a point, and it's so great. I just said this to someone. There's no barrier.
Right.
Let's take this down. Let's take this down. There's no barrier.
Mm-hmm.
We oftentimes hear society says, think outside of the box. But let me remind you of something. There's no box. If you are not being reminded, well, let me tell you, there's no box. There's no box. It's an open space for you and I and Sister Alice, Yasmin, Chris, Ifra, everyone who's watching us right now to create something.
That's true.
There's no box. Society wrapped us around this concept that there's a box. Think outside of the box. There is no box.
Right.
We are unlimited. We are unstoppable. So there's no box. When you said this, think outside of the box, you're limiting me for four corners.
Right.
We are co-creators of God. And if we are co-creators, we are going to create in the four corners of this earth.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no box that can hold us.
Right.
So if we get up with a mindset every single day, not to take it for granted, but get up with gratitude.
Right.
Believe me, we can create a whole galaxy of greatness.
Right. I agree.
We can do it.
I agree.
It can be done. And it starts with our children.
Mm-hmm.
Let us continue to pour into our children that inside of them is no limitation. Let us not teach them the box concept. And Sister Alice mentioned it earlier that when she's teaching whole. Touch the ground, feel the dirt, look at the leaves, study the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Go outside in the grass, sit on the grass. Nature is waiting to welcome you. You're not just A, B, C, 1, 2. No, they used to say, that's street book smart and street smart. You know, they had the street smart and book smart. Teach them both.
Yeah.
Teach
that balance.
Balance. That's let me write that down because I like to write things down. That's the word. Balance. Because if you're not balanced, boy, you're gonna be wobbling.
Right. And that's what we was talking about earlier, right? There's no balance right now. If you turn on the radio, it's just pure ignorance.
Yeah,
there's nothing like educational. There's nothing that they can grow from.
No.
Like young sisters, like coming out like half naked, like that's all they see. So like they're thinking like that's cool.
That's
like,
what they're supposed to do.
That's not cool at all. Like cool is being classy, like Sister Verona here. You know what I mean? Or like Alice, being classy, actually being a true caregiver. You know what I mean? Like helping children, like all type. That's what real women do. Like it's not like, come on, man. It's like it's just disgusting right now. You know, like I don't even listen to radio anymore. So
it's not enough. It's not enough out there, and the little bit that we have, we must continue to develop the little bit that we have, the little bit that we are putting out. We must continue to develop on it, and each corner that we get, each opportunity that we get, you and I and Sister Alice here, each opportunity that we get, we must take that opportunity and deposit it.
That's true.
In maximize it. I like to say, use the word maximize it in every single corner that we get. Every opportunity that we get, we must maximize just what we have in our hand, because what we
Right.
have is what's needed.
Right. Right.
It's needed. It is so
Yeah.
needed. So please let us what inspired you to write your book? Is
Um,
your story, you said?
well, like I said, I wrote like 4 stories. It's kind of like the same along the same lines of why you started the show. It's like, okay, God is telling us to sit down. You know what I mean? I didn't look at the pandemic as a bad thing. It was like, okay,
No, for me it was like the best thing. So
yeah, yeah, for real though. Like all distractions were shut down, sports was shut down, like bars were shut down.
I'm just
You,
saying,
you
truth be
had
told,
to. All you had was like you, your
truth be
family,
told,
and your own thoughts. So it's
yes,
like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm
yes,
saying? Are you
truth
gonna
be
do
told.
something negative with it, or are you gonna take it as a blessing and like pour into yourself? And like a lot of people did a lot of positive things, and it's good to see that.
Yes.
So like that's it was just a flood of negativity going on. You know what I mean? Like
But
so
I tell
that's
you why. I tell
mhm,
you why there was a flood of negativity. Because people got used to the norm.
yeah,
They got used to the norm. And Sister Alice mentioned that she was a classroom teacher. Then she transitioned home, became a homeschool teacher. Then she transitioned back to the classroom. But what was happening in the pandemic as well, when people were home with their children, they were complaining.
yeah, but that was a
And I'm like,
blessing. They
hello.
didn't see it as a blessing. Yeah,
I'm like, no, no.
that's a blessing.
Why would you be complaining that you're home with
Right.
your child? First of
Absolutely
all,
no sense.
you are the first teacher of your children.
Exactly. Exactly.
Duh,
Exactly.
duh.
Exactly.
Huh. So
I
she was.
loved it. I love it. You know what I'm
I'm like,
saying? Like that.
I know what y'all
You
talking about, but I was fine. I developed some stuff, and let me tell you something, because I'm
yeah.
going to bring back Sister Alice on. Sister Alice, I'm going to bring her back on this. Bring her back in the studio on this right here. I'm going to talk about this just for a quick second right here, because you see,
Mhm.
right now, what we are reaping at this 2023 is what we planted in 2020.
Mhm. That's
So let
true.
me say that for those in the back of the audience. What we are getting right now in 2023 is what we deposited in 2020.
Organic. Everything organic takes time. You know what I mean? Like all the hard work that Sister Alice put in, like going to get her PhD, that's amazing. But it took time and consistency and dedication and persistence. You know what I'm saying? It's not for the weak. You know what I'm saying? If you work hard, even in her working hard, she's teaching, doing that too. So then her children see that, like, man, she's like she married, she my mom, she teaching us, and she going back to
And
school,
going back to school. And
leading
not
by
only,
example,
not only,
and not being a hypocrite. That's
yeah,
beautiful. That's
because,
beautiful. That's
because not
beautiful.
only is she going back to school for an associate degree or a bachelor degree,
Mhm.
PhD, she way over yonder.
People need to see that though. Like children need to see Alice on TV just as much as they see Beyonce on TV. No, there's no disrespect to the
No disrespect to
entertainers or
you,
nothing like
Beyonce,
that.
but we're saying the truth right here.
Right. They need to see this sister's married. She takes care of her children. She takes care of her obligations, and she's in school advancing. And she's still taking care of children now in the program that she's over. So they need to see that. These little girls need to understand, like, you don't have to like sell your soul. You don't have to be naked. You don't have to compromise your integrity for $1.
Right.
What Sister Alice is doing is priceless because long after we're gone, everything that she's leaving out there is still going to be here. And that's the importance of literature. That's the importance of artwork. That's the importance of believing in yourself and understanding that you've been blessed with gifts. You know what I mean? So don't shackle yourself. Like, especially now, like these kids have the internet. The internet is a blessing. Like like I said, I'm 41. I remember we didn't have like you had like there was no internet in the 80s. There was computers, but you had to be like super rich to have one.
You got
Now,
that
like
right.
Now you self-sufficient. Like you don't need a book deal. You don't have to go sell your rights to somebody else. You could put something organic out there and work it yourself. And then you meet good sisters like Verona, you know what I'm saying, who have shows that highlight individuals like us, you know what I mean? And we network, and I see a book that I never saw before that I'm interested in. You know what I mean? I have a daughter, about to have another daughter, you know what I'm saying, in a few couple months or whatever. So I'm interested in that book. So these shows like this are important. And like I said again, I appreciate you.
Yeah. Yes, Sister Veronica and Brother Ward, thank you guys so much for the praise. I appreciate it. It is well deserved, well appreciated, well noticed. I tell my kids all the time, I think my oldest, she's 24, she'll be turning 25. She tells my two younger ones all the time, Mom is probably one of the smartest people I know. You need to ask her. Don't go ask your friends, because her friends in college used to reach out to me and tell me, can we ask you a question? Because they didn't want to go home. They wanted to talk to me. And I always felt there was no judgment. Coming from a large family of 12, I always felt that judgment from the older group of the older siblings. And so when I am around younger individuals, I always try to make sure that I'm not being judgmental, because I understand that judgment also quiets the child. And it quiets the child inside, because now they're embarrassed. They're afraid that they're hurting themselves or hurting someone that they love. It's a whole lot of things that go into embarrassment, and understanding that a child needs to have a voice prevents a lot of things from happening. Suicide, incest, they're able to speak out and say, hey, someone touched me in an appropriate way. Like there's so many things when you quiet a child, you quiet an inner voice, and that inner voice needs to speak. So now during that pandemic, I think it was for all of us to basically rest. I feel like the whole world needed to rest. I think we all was praying, man, God, I'm tired. I think he heard that from way too many people. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to shut it down.
There you go.
That's a fact.
And he shut it down. And you know what? I was so rested. I know you were rested, Brother Roy, Sister Veronica. I know you were rested.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we all got that spark, and that's how we started writing these books and pushing our pushing our brand, pushing our name out there in the public, and say, hey, besides television, look who we found. We found ourselves outside of the 9 to 5, outside of a book. We found ourselves in this house to say, I really do love my husband. I got a chance to be in the house with him for 2 years. I really do love my husband.
Thank you.
Some people got divorces, but I love my husband. I found out that my kids are freaking amazing, and they're pretty cool kids.
There you go.
Didn't know that, but I know. I mean, I was at home with them at one point, but I don't think my husband really knew how cool they were. You know what I'm saying? I don't and then he was like, wait, they actually are pretty cool kids. So when you got a chance to be home, you got a chance to see all of that. And then I started Zoom conferences, and I was telling Miss Sister Veronica, I got 67 members on my side that has the Bay name. I have another slew of people on my husband's side. And we used to do Zoom calls, and it was so many boxes on the screen, and I'm trying to control all the boxes and mute people so we all can talk, And it's amazing that we were all, from nieces to nephews to my mom, we were all able to get everybody on screen to just say, hello, how are you? And then I started pulling in my cousins, on my mom's side and my dad's side, and just saying, hey, let's all come in and say hello. People just wasn't seeing each other, but that's needed. Someone like a matriarch of the family is needed, because you got to know that family is going to always be there, but there's people outside of those walls that's your family too, that don't have your last name, that doesn't have that blood. But you know what? They're gonna ride or die for you no matter what. And I got a lot of people in the community that know who I am, and they're willing to ride or die for me when I say, hey, there's something I want to do with these kids. Okay, we got you. Don't even worry about it. We got you. We're gonna make sure it happens, because they know that my heart is in it for the kids. And these books that we produce is for the kids. They're for them to understand that you see me and I see you. And in that book, you may see yourself.
There you go.
It's important.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. You will learn a thing or two. And like I said, I like to take off stuff off plates. I'm like, I was always that child that my mom would serve me, and I'm like, but I don't want the rice. I only want the peas. So I'm always, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, So So I'm always like that, like, hey, but I don't want the rice, I want the chicken, and I would pick out from the plate what is it that I so desire. And judgmental, you just call the word judgmental.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus, Lord, we need to come out of there.
Absolutely.
And this is where the young people are being judged in such a place where they don't have a safe space to express themselves. And I said this earlier, and I'm gonna go over it. I said, what we have, the three of us right here, as well as those who are in the audience, you have the same thing. Please utilize what you have. The Lord had told Moses, use what's in your hand. So I'm going to say the same thing to us right here. Use what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Maximize what you have. Expand what you have. And if it's one child, if it's one student, let that one student be it.
Sister Veronica, I wanted to let you know that you are part of the solution, whether you know this or not. You're part of the solution because you bring new authors that are of color on here to let our platform be shown and seen by the world. Even if they're not in here today live, they're going to see it again if it's on YouTube. Be it,
Yes.
just accidentally clicking along. Some reason they were supposed to be in that, because nothing is ever an accident. Especially if it's in God's work, it's not an accident. It was meant to happen to learn a lesson. So being on this platform was really amazing. I love the conversations that we are having. So thank you guys so much. This is really, really good. So just wanted to let you know that.
Well, thank you. Yes. And that's I made a vow with God, and I'm going to say it publicly. I made a vow with God that He gave me a second chance to live. And because He gave me a second chance to live, I said every second of that chance, I want to make it the last chance. The first and the last, if you understand what I'm saying. If it's the last time you see me, let it be the first encounter, be a lasting impression on you. So I live every day as if it's my last day because of the second chance that I got to live. God didn't have to let me live a second time, but He knew. He said, I need you. Mm-hmm. So each moment of my life is defined as that last moment for me. Each moment. So every time I see that God look at me again and said, I'm going to give you another day, I show up. I show up determined and show up and say, it could be my last day. It could be my last day. So if I could inspire, I made a vow to God that if I could inspire one person, just one, just give me one. If I could inspire one person, then I can impact the masses. I just need one. Because you have one, you can make it. Because that one will know one more. And the one more will know one more. And then it will become a ripple effect. All I ask God for is just to give me that one. I just need one. So that one can continue to make a ripple effect. So we can create and impact the masses. So my life, when I show up every time, I say I don't show up for myself. I show up because God allowed me to show up to find that one. Mm-hmm. Send me that one. To be the solution, as you just said, Sister Alice, to be the solution to one person. Wherever that one person lies, wherever that one person sits, I just want to know that that one is out there. I might have met the one already. I might have met the one already, and that one probably sitting somewhere in the corner like, that's a Verona, I might have met the one already, but I'm like, God, okay, every day for me is brand new, so I need a new one. Maybe I met the one yesterday. Yesterday's one. I don't know nothing about yesterday. Can you give me the one today, right now? Yeah, please give me my one. So each day, I don't can you give me my one? Yeah, so I have to stick with me and God. Can we have the one now? And you probably like, I gave you one. Now, this is a brand new day. Can we do this? This is a fresh day. Can I have a one? So every day, that's what I ask for, a one. So we continue to use what we have. We continue to show up. We continue to move forward. We continue to win. We are in a winning season. My dear brother and sister here, we're in a winning season. Until we wrap our mind around this, we won't know that we are in a winning season. We're going to wrap our mind, change our mindset, understand that we are in the image of God. And in God is only greatness. So we, as a people, are created in greatness. We are making a mark. Let us be consistent in making that mark. Let us be consistent. Let us show up determined to be consistent. I celebrate both of you in different areas. I celebrate both of you for so many things. Individually, I celebrate you, and collectively, I celebrate both of you. I celebrate you for every step that you take, and I like to proclaim and declare the blessing of God for those who come in my space. Because in my space is only goodness in my space. So I can only give you what I have. I can only give you what I have. So before I declare a blessing on both of you and your space, Brother Roy, tell us where we can find your book and all that good stuff. And then I declare a blessing and then we pause tonight's episode.
All right. Well, you can find my book, Raise, Train Up a Child in the Way by Roy Little, illustrated by Shadera Uzoka. It's on Amazon. I'm not as advanced as my sister Alice. She's an inspiration though. I'm gonna get a website at some point. Well, like I'm a super procrastinator, so I had to just get it out somehow. But once again, man, like I have to hats off to Alice. She's an inspiration. Hats off to you, my sister, for having me. Like I said, this whole interview has been a blessing. It's full circle. Like everything is connected. It's all about education, planting seeds of positivity in the youth. Like I was gonna come on here cracking a whole bunch of jokes, but I had to it's a beautiful show. Like I ain't want to dampen the mood with jokes. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of serious stuff here. It's a lot of jewels that people could grasp from this episode, and God willing, people watch it back. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of good information in here, a lot of uplifting content here. So again, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna find a way to I'm gonna put up the link I'll put up the link in the chat for your book as well. And again, let me show the books that we are referring to tonight. So this is the first book, and that's Brother Roy's book, and this is the second book. Audience, I'd like to encourage you that you go out and you support authors, because in each book there's a story, and inside of us there is a story or two. We all have a story. Whether we like it or not, somebody is waiting for our story. Our story oftentimes is the solution to somebody else. Our story sometimes put a smile on somebody else's face. So I encourage you as you watch this episode, whether you watch it on live or whether you watch the replay, support the authorship. Support our work as we come. We are not just coming because we want to write. We are coming to tell a story that will put a smile on your face, inspire you, encourage you, put joy in your heart, as Brother Roy's concept in his book is to bring fun and joy, and as well as Alice, to bring a message of fun and joy and what you can accomplish. I ask that you just make a support. Follow them on social media. Support them. Support is not about you giving money at all times. Support is just showing up.
Right.
No one succeed by themselves. Everyone need someone. As a teacher, I'm going to just jump in the teacher classroom, and the word success or the word support, they start with the same letter. Support. First two letters on SU. But if you turn those two letters around, you're only going to get one word, and that's us. That's us. My brother and my sister. We are winning. We are winning. Winning is us. It's us. I want to thank you both for showing up today. And as I declare a blessing upon your life, I declare a blessing that your path is clear. Your path is healed and your path is whole. Every trod that you trod is wholeness, is peace and comfort and strength. Not only for you, but your entire space. That the space that you hold in your mind first and your feet may be peaceful. It may be full enough that it's overflowing. Now, when it's overflowing, you'll be able to serve others. You'll be able to serve others because we will serve only from our overflow. Whether it's overflow of love, kindness, smile, whatever it is, serve my brother, serve my sister. Anything you serve from, God will reward you then. I want to thank you from my heart. I speak not from my mouth. I speak only from my heart. That the blessing of God continue to envelop your space. Continue to envelop those you come in contact with, that they may bring positivity to you. That they may pour into you. That they pour into you as you pour into them. That you may never be empty. May God replenish both of you and your space. As I say, from my heart, gratitude is written from every corner. Thank you for being here.
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Audience, for you who have joined us live, and if you watch this on replay, I declare the same thing for you. What I speak to one, I speak to all. May your feet trod in peace as we go with the intention to lift up humanity. We go with the intention to replenish the earth. Be peaceful. Try. Every day that you get, try to be peaceful with all men. And you will see the blessing of God will never run out. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Suparna. From India, you have people from India tuning in. Thank you, Yasmin. Thank you, Ifra. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Amina. Thank you all for tuning in to this live show of the Question Live Show. I am your host, don't remember, Verona Willis-Brown. I'll see you on the next go around. We have new season. We have new schedule. So, hey, I might be here tomorrow. Thank you again for tuning in. See you on the next go around. Bye for now, all. Bye. Well, I don't like to say bye, so I'll say see you on the next go around. Thank you.